I'm through with some more shit, all right?
No.
Solid. Yeah, man. You able to get it? Yeah, that way it just burns out. Careful not to tip it over, all right? Other than that, there ain't gonna be no way to really get that shit out of the menorah. I would like to put it up here somewhere, but not tonight. Yeah, he coming back on. Just in case, you could give me one.
Whenever someone has a question, we'll pass the mic around and turn the volume up. The volume is down right now.
Okay, now leave the volume up.
Leave it up.
Yeah, it's gonna take too much time. All right, just leave the volume up. Is there a reason?
No, it's just when it was over here.
Get a napkin because you're gonna take it off of the stand, right? Get a paper towel so you could rest it on the because you're putting it on the floor, right? And on the floor, but the podium, the edge of the podium. Yeah, so you get a paper towel so you rest it on there. You know what I mean? And you pass it to whoever. Just in the meantime, until we get a wireless setup that we would need. I think there's a wireless one for the speaker too. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can just plug it in the back. We definitely use that for the crash. Don't play too close to the speaker because the reverb. You know what I mean? All right, let's clap it up. Yeah, listen to the thumb. Yahweh Shema, Thunba, Shem Yahweh. Shit sounding weird, boy, but I'm a trust the process. This whole thing here sound real weird and low, but I'm a trust the process. It ain't for me to hear, it's for them. You know what I mean? Because actually, this thing goes straight into the damn software. I'm gonna be on here sounding like the quiet storm. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be on here sounding like the radio in the morning. I'm gonna be all I'm they do this thing like this. Give me Genesis 26:17. We on here with the UPK DC. Play some more music on the afternoon drive. Yeah, most I ain't cry. We step up with it. You know what I mean? All right. Any questions? Let me know. Any questions in the place, please. Right. Also, tonight we're gonna do a little bit of protocol, a little bit of war, a little bit of the history, and comparing our life to the oppressor's life. We're gonna touch on that, Sister Ruby Bridges. All right. Those of you who know who it is. So in the meantime, we get some questions. All right. Also, you all know tonight 9 p.m. Black Watch News on YouTube. Black Watch News. Black Watch one word. Space News on YouTube. Commander General Yahanna. You're gonna be another one of them bangers. He be dropping. Going into the history. It's a story from a book, Tell All the Children My Story, which is it was the lynching of a family in the 1920s and the subsequent rape of one of the daughters, who is Captain Mawakwa's great-grandmother, right? And that's to show you how them slave stories we be reading, and our oppressor tells us they're old and in the past, as if we're supposed to forget about it. But those people have sons and daughters and grandchildren and great nieces, and they're alive today. So how could it be in the past? You know what I mean? Like he heard that story growing up, and then we read it from a book in class, and then he realized, hold on, that's my grandmother's story. That's her. And Commander General Yahanna interviewed the sister and broke the whole thing down, and you're gonna see how cruel the oppression is of our people. If you don't know, just go subscribe to that channel now, Black Watch News. Black Watch one word, news one word, on YouTube. Subscribe to it. 9 p.m. live is going to be on. All right, so check it out. Those of you who are online, just let me know if the audio is coming through smooth. Type in a 1, type in a 1. If it's not smooth, type in something else to let me know. We had to fix it. All right. And that's it. Let's go. Any questions? Please.
Sorry, sir. It's coming in as a 1. They can hear you, sir.
Most I ain't
I have a question. Last week, John Muhammad was bringing out, and it was kind of brief. And
you're gonna ask me a General Muhammad question? God damn, Mike, what's he trying to do?
I just would like a little bit more clarification, because when he went over it, it was kind of like, okay, this is what happened, and then he just kind of moved on.
Okay.
The scripture was talking about how in the twinkling of an eye, I have the scripture right here. It's 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. It says, in a moment, the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. He said, now he had a precept when they was talking about when Christ came back, they didn't recognize him because he was changed. And he wasn't he didn't look the way he looked the way he before he was crucified. Is like when they say the change, like how would that change be? Like no one's going to our people who grew up with, people who knew us at that time, we wouldn't look the same to them. Like what is that?
What is the change?
Come.
No sweat. Come on, Shapat. I know you don't experience it. That change is happening right now. That change ain't just at that point, right? Or specifically that change with the twinkling of an eye is at that point. But there's a whole change that's happening right now that's similar. All right, go ahead.
So 2 things. I remember that breakdown where he said Christ was taller, and he was sitting right next to the disciples, and they didn't recognize him. And also, when I went around the way not too long ago, they said I look like a bodybuilder.
But did they recognize you?
Yeah, I mean they did, but
they didn't recognize you. It was like a double take. Right. That happens right now in this plane. That's the best way I could say it. It happens right now where you come into the truth, you take on a whole new spirit. Your face changes because You wear oppression on you like makeup. You wear it like a mask. You wear it. Your eyes say you're depressed. Everything about you says you're depressed and oppressed. When you come into the truth, your spirit is what? That's true. Specifically for the scripture, it says renew. Be renewed by the transformation of your mind, right? It's like a be ye therefore transformed by the renewal of your mind, vice versa, one of the two, right? And there's people who would see you on an everyday basis and wouldn't recognize you unless you walk up to them and say, "Hey, Johnny," and they'd be like, "Damn, that's you." They don't recognize you because now you have the spirit of the Lord, right? So now that change is just from obeying him for 90 days. You understand? If you remember being a trooper, you start to grow that beard and start letting that, hair come in and that line up, get messed up. You start looking different. After 90 days, you look like a stranger. After 6 months, you look like a stranger. Forget about the sisters. Friends doesn't even want to hang out with them because why? They ain't looking like the everyday hoe no more. You can't see that tail no more. She's more humble. Her eyes ain't the old vanity, proud eyes, the haughty eyes of women in the world. Her eyes are different, right? And that's just from obeying the Lord for what? A short period of time. Well, here, this is for people who done changed their life and either died in endured to the end and died in the truth, and they come back, or who's serving in the service when Christ returns. Your body is going to change. Not change meaning you're gonna you're not gonna be Goliath. You know what I mean? But it's gonna change to mean you're gonna have the best body you can have. You understand what I mean? Like imagine physically. We was having this conversation the other day. I think it was with Shapad, right? Me, you, and Kazaki was talking about how in the medieval times with these swords, how brothers would be swinging them swords, and them swords is not light. If you ever pick up a sword, them swords is heavy. A light sword will shatter, it will break. A heavy sword swinging, cutting through leather, metal, cutting people's legs off. You had to be strong. And a battle was not 45 minutes. It wasn't a basketball game. A battle sometimes was all day, sometimes 3 days. So you swinging left, right, and center. You cutting people's legs off, cutting a hole in somebody's chest. You are so much stronger. Now think about today's average person. It's a far cry from that because the lifestyle is different. You get what I'm saying? The things that you would probably survive then, you ain't surviving now. The things you're surviving now, probably couldn't survive then. Now, with Christ, in Christ's kingdom, in this thing here we're talking about, you are going to receive the most perfect body you have. You understand? You're gonna have that where you look different. Just think about if you know anybody who's had back pain, anybody who suffer with back pain, their height is not their real height. Anybody who has back pain, once that back pain is relieved, they straighten up a little bit more. They straighten up either from tilting forward or crunching down. They straighten up some more. So imagine how your body is now. It's just full of ailments. It's physically ailments and oppression. Then you have a body that's free of it. You get the point? That's free of it. Just think like a child, a newborn child, 4 or 5 years old, never experienced no pain in the world, and just happy and bright-eyed and smiling and then there's the early teenager who starts getting depressed because life is changing. For boys who go through a little puberty, you got to be with the in crowd. For women, you start getting that cycle. Shit is just all messed up, and you could see it. You get the point? You could see it. So here, the twinkling of an eye, you're gonna get the best body, a body that's not corruptible or hasn't been corrupted. That's the better way to put it. A body that hasn't, you ain't never inhale and pass. You get the point? You ain't never, drink some old, nasty shit and into a stupor, something you ain't supposed to put in your body. You get the point? Alcohol is lawful, but I believe some of them alcohol should be unlawful. Salaki. You use that to wash your car tire or to bathe your dog. But that should not be ingested. You get the point? So that's more so what it's talking about there. You read it one more time.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Any more?
That was it on that scripture.
Right now, with Yahushua, do you want to find the one with Yahushua? All right. The dead shall be incorruptible, and we will be changed. Right? Because, of course, the dead is corrupted from what? Rotting in that grave all the time. You get the point? But now you come out with a new body. Brand new. Christ still had his body with wounded and done whatever oppression and, the symptoms of that life for that time that would be in there. But his body now was new because it was free of that corruption. But he still had the marks. You get the point? He still had them marks. You understand? You found it?
I believe just look at it before I said I got it.
Go ahead.
It's Luke chapter 24 and 16. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him. It's like verse 15.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Jesus himself drew near and went with them. Verse 16. But their eyes
drew near and what?
He drew near and went with them. Verse 16. But their eyes were holden that they should know him not. Verse 17. And he said unto them, what manner of communication are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad?
Right. So now what is he doing? What's he doing with them?
He's walking with them. He's listening to how the way they talk.
He is, but what is he doing to them?
He's checking them. He's
checking the spirit. Say, what the hell y'all talking about that y'all walking around here so goddamn gloomy? Get the point? Like, check your spirit. What's going on out? What's going on with you? Pick your head up, man. You get the point? He's checking the spirit because they're walking around down. Why are they down?
Because they crucified Christ. He's not there.
Yeah, because they murdered their leader. Get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 18.
And okay, now that's to show. It's like, okay, it's kind of not catch-22, but it's like they murdered the leader, but if they understood, how would they be? Now that's just like, okay, he did it. But however, the murder wasn't just like a bullet in the head.
Right.
You get the point? Beat your friend to a pulp. You get the point? And then hang him on a cross for Lord knows how many hours. You understand? So now it's, they're sad, but they didn't really understand the whole mission. They didn't fully get it. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. And the one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered, said unto him, art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and has not known the things which are come to pass that there in these days?
Read it one more time.
And one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering, said unto him, art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and has not known the things which are come to pass there in these days?
Right. So what is he asking them there?
Like, you don't know what's going on?
You
don't know what's happening? What just happened this past couple of days?
Right, because he responding to the sad comment. He's like, are you a stranger? You just coming to town? Where you from? You know what I mean? Man, where you been? You been on a rock somewhere? You ain't know what just happened? Go ahead.
Verse 19. And he said unto them, what things? And they said unto him, concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people. And how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and have crucified him. But we trust that it had been he, but we trust that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And besides all this, today is the third day since these things were done.
Right. So now they ain't fully get why he mentioned the third day.
Because Christ told him he's going to come back on the third day.
Remember, that's what made a whole ton of people leave the truth. He said, you see this temple, I will destroy it and raise it up in 3 days. And they thought he was talking about Solomon's temple. You understand? They said he tripping, he bugging. And then when he said, here's my body, eat it. Here's my blood, drink it. They left. They rolled out. You remember, he fed 5,000 people.
Right.
Which means what?
It was 5,000 people.
At least following him. Right? Following him. He built a massive school. But he starts saying them things just like Israel. They couldn't understand. You hear what that nigga say? I don't know about you, but I could walk now. I could see now. I'm out. You get the point? Lazarus wasn't there in the end. You understand? Lazarus, who was dead, was not there in the end. All right, go ahead. So he's saying, he's telling them what happened, and then he's saying, this is the one to deliver Israel. This is the one to bring out change. So they hear the prophecy, but they're young. They're young in the truth, so they ain't like, Christ coming back. No, we waiting. They sad. They sad, and he say, yeah, besides, it is the third day, meaning coming to a close, and I ain't seen no temple yet. I ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came, saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre, and found it even so as the woman had said, but him they saw not. Verse 25. Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets had spoken.
Mm-hmm. What did he say? What did he first say?
O fools.
Say what?
O fools.
Say what?
O fools.
Now, this is Christ talking to the disciples. Just, you know what I mean? Just grab your nuts when you get checked. Salaki says. Just grab your nuts a little bit when you get checked. What Christ called the disciples?
O fools.
For what?
And slow of heart to believe all that the prophets had spoken.
Because you don't believe what was laid down. Really, you don't believe it. And why is he saying, oh, fools?
Because they was with him from the beginning.
If you don't believe, what's all of that shit for? You know what I mean? So once again, you got to understand like a father-son relationship or a big brother, little brother relationship where you teaching something or you're showing somebody something, and then for some whatever it is that's hindering them from going over this hurdle, they can't go over when it's just go over. So now he's saying, thou fools, you ain't believe what the prophet said, you ain't believe what they laid down, because if anybody not supposed to be sad, should be them. You understand? But they sad, so he's like, get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 26. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?
Mm-hmm.
And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded upon them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself.
Now, understand this, people line up for hours for some concert. How long them people was in Astro World before they died? Since the daytime. Mm-hmm. That nigga came out there midnight. And as soon as he come out, was they sad like, man, I've been here since 11 with this goddamn ticket. Was they sad? They was what? They start playing the little Travis Scott song and they're going, and then the fire come on, he come on, and they're there, they're ready, they're waiting on him. The disciples, they getting close. Damn. Get the point? And they rolled with him. These niggas ain't never meet Travis Scott. They don't even know how tall he really is. Get the point? He's checking them, he's checking their spirits. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And they drew nigh unto the village, whether they went. Mm-hmm. And he made.
Now, mind you, he talking to them all this time. And they still don't know, because why? That too, but it's also they're depressed. Which is what depression could do. What could depression do to you?
deny things that is like straight right in your face.
It's life. You ever see people drive and then they just run into a car and it's just like, damn, what the fuck happened? Because their brain is somewhere else. They're here, their eyes open. You think they're seeing, but they're watching another movie arc. These brothers went through it. They're talking to him. If anything, you're supposed to recognize the check-in. These is disciples. Which nigga is coming up and calling you a fool? You didn't get the point? This is not the first time he called them fool. They're supposed to... Wait, hold up. Raise up that hoodie. Oh, shit! Nah. Who?
Christ at this time. Well, he knows them.
No, he know them.
They don't know
They don't know it's him. That's what I'm saying. They're caught up in the whole thing and not remembering the prophecy. Remember, the scriptures say, if the Lord did not shorten the time, the devil would be able to deceive even the very elect. That's in the Bible. You understand? Because Satan, he understands shit. Go ahead.
So you saying the Most High shortened the time?
Meaning, yes. When the time now, like the time we're in now, it's shorter. It's a shorter time, even though he delayed. Remember, it's 3 days. The third day, 3 wars, 2 wars have passed. This whole millennium thing, he extended according to how they say in the prophecy, right? But now he's saying, if I don't shorten the time, I have to come back before my appointed time. And because if I don't, there'll be no flesh to save, because they will be able to deceive even the very elect. It says that in the Bible. Just find it for me. I'm fighting for you. Keep reading.
Top of verse 28. And they drew nigh unto the village, whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone and he made as though he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, and took bread, and blessed it, and brake it, and gave to them, and their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight.
Right, read that part again. So like I lost it in the beginning.
You want to go back up to 28, sir?
Just after where we call them old fool, and they went off somewhere.
Verse 27. And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded upon them and all the scriptures of things concerning him.
So what he started to do, he started to run down the whole prophecy. Beginning at Moses, come on.
No, I got the precept for the very elect.
Where is that?
Matthew 24, 22 and 24.
Okay, that'll work. Hold on. I'm gonna get that after. Okay. All right. So he started a rundown from the beginning. Genesis, Moses, all the way down, because he telling them, he says, you don't remember Genesis 49 and 10? The scepter shall not depart from Judah. You don't remember this, you don't remember that. You don't remember a lamb slain, you don't remember none. And he running it down because he taught them. Now he had to make them remember the shit. They done gave up the spirit. Remember, the Holy Spirit will bring all things into remembrance. This depression they're going through, this, they vexed, they angry, they mad, they sad, all at the same time. You understand? All at the same time. They're going through a rough time. They're young, but they were young men rolling with Christ, though. You get the point? They were young men rolling with him. So now listen, man, what's going on? You don't remember this? You don't remember that? You don't remember this? Now he had to revive that spirit. He had to, he had to, revive them, right? Go ahead.
And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went, and as he made as though he would have gone further, but they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave to them, and their eyes were open.
And why their eyes was open?
They recognize how he did it.
Why they recognize how he did it?
How he blessed it. And,
something significant though.
He did it the exact same way that he did it the first time.
Which was at the, what they call it, the Last Supper. Because that was the last time they saw him. The Last Supper was what? Passover night. Right? Remember, he broke the bread and shared it out. This is my body. Then he gave them wine, shared it out. The next day, he was taken. You understand? So now he doing the same thing again. And they's like, oh shit. It's been 3 days. Because looking at me like, what the fuck you talking about? Salaki, go ahead.
Salaki, I didn't know that the Last Supper was the Passover. And
it was past. It tells you that. I'll find it for the brother, all right? It tells you that. It tells you they was up in a small room, keeping the Passover around the time of the Passover or on Feast of Unleavened Bread, something like that. It was right. It was the time of the. Remember, Christ is the Passover. He's the sacrifice. You get the point? It was at that time they keeping the Passover, and he's laying them. That's the same night he said, "One of you all, I cleaned you all, but not all but one. One of you all here will betray me." Blah 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 blah. And I think Judas got up and left, and that's when he said it because Judas went to make the deal. Because I could like next week on. The power universe. The Bible is the best book in the world. It broken down for what it is. It's the best gangster movies, the best medieval stories, the best romance story. There's nothing else. There's nothing else that's there.
The Passover one is also in the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 17, all the way down to about.
Just give me a couple verses with it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 17. Now the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, "What wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?" Verse 18. And he said, "Go into the city to such a man and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples." And verse 19, and the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Right,
just like you go in the camp all the time. There's always brothers and sisters who they ain't coming in, but they're on help. They love what you do. They just can't do what you do, and nobody should fault a brother or sister for that. You get the point? Where would Drake be without a fan? He wouldn't be Drake if he was on stage singing with him. But they have his support. You understand what I'm saying? Where would the U.S. military be without people who staying home and sewing the damn military stuff? And soldiers ain't sewing the garments. You get the point? So it's people who don't come all the way in, but they're there all the time. Love them for what they do. Love them for showing up and supporting you and saluting you and giving you kind words, and that's it. You get the point? So now over time, whatever happened. This man, whatever he told Christ, so he already know, hey, go over there, 2 blocks down on the right, you see a brother, go tell him, master say, now is the time. I need to keep the feast at your house. You get the point? And it was done. Because of course, once you're in the work, you get to understand what was happening here. The Christian would tell you, oh, well, he's Christ. So he magically went in the nigga head and made him say yes. That's not what happened, because that's not how life is. How is life? The same brother who at camp all the time, he owns a mechanic store, or he sells this and he sells that. Man, anything y'all need, man, y'all come check me. Anything y'all need. And lo and behold, someday something happened. I say, hey, go down there and tell him, tell him so-and-so. Tell him officer so-and-so. Tell him cap sending. And he's, oh, so-and-so, big dude. Yeah, man. Yeah. You understand? That's this here. And you tell him, I'm going to keep in the Passover at your house. And that's where they went for the Last Supper. All right? Let's go back to where you was.
Verse 31. And their eyes were open, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight.
Mm-hmm. And their eyes was open. They recognized who he was. And as soon as they recognized who he was, he got gone. Why? You might need the next account for that one. Anybody? sis?
Is it because he hadn't presented himself to the prophet?
That's it. That's it. Find it for me, please. I think, is it in Acts? Might be Acts chapter 1. Give me John 20. And 15. Whoever have it, go ahead.
Come. John chapter 20, verse 15.
Nice and loud, please, huh?
Come. John chapter 20, verse 15. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou?
Right? Again, crying because they saw what he suffered, not understanding that what he really went to do. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. She, supposing him to be
A little bit louder, please. A little bit louder. Raise your head up. Give me a little bit louder, all right? Go ahead.
She, supposing him to be the gardener, saith unto him, Sir, if thou hast borne him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I will take him away.
Right? Because now she thinking somebody done robbed the grave. Somebody done took his body because of who he was. Just like, what did they do with Osama bin Laden's body?
They threw it overboard.
Where?
In the middle of the sea or ocean.
Where?
They didn't want anybody to know where it was.
Why?
Because it would be like a pilgrimage or a shrine.
It would inspire his followers. You understand? It would inspire his followers if they knew where his grave was because people followed him. So they took his body and they say they dump it somewhere in the middle of the ocean, which is against them Muslim laws and whatever, but they don't want nobody gathering there, you know, going and touching it like how they go down and touch Martin Luther King statue and getting inspiration to do whatever he did. So now they go to the tomb, Christ's body ain't there. They're thinking these Romans done come and took it. They paid a brother to take the body because they know we would come looking for the body. We come looking for it and they try. Remember, this is, you got to remember, what does the history book say about Christ? He was a dangerous and fanatical revolutionary. That's what the Roman history book says about Christ. So for him, for somebody like that, after what they went through and the whole zone is sad, it's, you know, you if his body's missing, it's like, damn, they came and they got him once again. And understand, he said it, I'll raise this temple up in 3 days. Keep going.
Come. Verse 16. Jesus saith unto her, Mary. She turns herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master.
Right. He called her by her name and she recognized who he was. You understand? She recognized him right then and there because why? That was her teacher. And over time, you're going to recognize, just like you recognize your father's voice. A dog recognizes your voice, Ak. You understand? She recognized who it is. Right? Keep going.
Come. Verse 17. Jesus saith unto her, Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren, and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God,
right,
and your God.
So he's telling her, don't touch me yet, because I ain't go and see the Father yet. I ain't go up to that fourth dimension yet. But go tell the disciples what you just seen. Go tell the disciples that's what's going on. Later on, I think is when he met one of them and he was doubting. That's what the Christians say, doubtful Thomas. He was doubting and Christ had to show him the wound to prove who he was. And then he rolled out to go ascend into heaven. Right? So you get it now? Like this is you just get a body that's from the Lord. You just get a body that's from the Lord, and it's not really hard to, it's not hard to understand. Everybody think Gucci made a clone when he came out of prison, right? That's not Gucci. That ain't what's his yellow song he said he had? Something yellow. My diamonds is yellow. My Lambo is yellow. Lemonade. Salakia. When Gucci come out, he looked different. That's not a clone. That's called being drug free.
Right.
That's all it is. It's just called being drug free. Same thing with NBA Youngboy. They say what? He's a clone. It's not a clone. He went in jail when he was what? 18? At 18 and a 21, 22-year-old is two different looking people. Go look at Kobe when he just come in the league till just when he catch that rape case. He's a totally different looking person. Plus no drugs, you're gonna look different. The same thing happened with Kodak Black. It's, you know, your body changes. It changes based on what it's going through. It changes. A woman pre-pregnancy, not even being pregnant, young sister, she ain't pregnant, she married, she's having sex. Go see her after. Her hips is wider. She have on a little more weight. She ain't fat, she just have on a little more weight. Her face look a little different. Jawline is a little bit more out because she went through something. Your body shows. Your body shows. The scriptures say you could tell the homosexuality by their countenance. That's in the Bible, right or wrong? The scriptures say you could tell the whoredom in her eyelids. Your body shows it. You understand? Your body shows it. So now here Christ received a different body, a better body. Let's put it like that, a better body. I don't want to say different because he had the wounds. A better body, just better. You know what I mean? We good? I think we're done, right? What was the other scriptures? Matthew 24 and something?
Matthew 24, 22 through 24.
And let me get that.
That's the very elect one.
Let me get that.
Go. The book of Matthew, chapter 24.
Could got everything worked out?
Verse 22.
You sure? No, sir. I'm too wild.
Verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Read from 21.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 21.
24 and 21, right?
24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be.
Right, Christ is giving them what? Prophecy. Right, because they're asking him, remember Matthew 24 is what? What shall be the signs of the return? How will we know you're on your way back? This is one of the ways we'll know. There will be such great tribulation. Tribulation is what? Problems, troubles, right? Such as was not seen as from the beginning of this time until now. Nowhere in the history have you seen some shit like this was going on. You get the point? You ain't seen none of that. Nor shall there ever be after. What's that to say? Are we at the end? Explain.
The scriptures say that this will be the beginning of sorrow.
So what? Listen, fear not, because this is just the beginning of sorrows. Right. Things ain't bad yet, as you think they are. Things ain't that bad. You get the point? Forget the school shooting. Wait till they're at the front door asking you for what's in your kitchen. You get the point? And you trying to find some way to defend yourself. Wait till it gets to that point. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Say it again.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
And except those days be shortened, because last days, the Lord gonna have to catch that early bus, that early train, the 3:15 train. He can't wait until the 4 o'clock one. Because by the time he get into DC, there ain't gonna be nothing left to save. You understand? Go ahead.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
For the elect's sake, for the sake of those who he chose, those days shall be shortened. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
Now, because he shortened his time to return, what's going to happen? They're going to arise false prophets. And if any man say these things to you, don't believe it. Even though you're expecting me at this time, don't believe every knock on the door. You get the point? Look, see what's going on. Go ahead.
Verse 24. For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
You understand? That's what's going on. That's what's going on. If it was possible, the signs going to be so great, they're going to deceive the very elect. Because the miracles is, remember, our people are carnal people. We're not too much into spirituality. We're not into, we into the boom and the bang. That's who we are as a people. So if there's somebody doing boom, bang, pow, well, then that must be the Lord. You know what I mean? Assalamu alaikum. Everybody wanted to be Muslim after that shit. Right or wrong? Everybody wanted to be Muslim after it because, once again, we're carnal. We're a carnal race of people.
So if I may, when I was a young man coming into the truth, I used to talk to Christians. Some Christian churches used to say that Christ already came.
Right, he's already here, so we in the kingdom now. I done heard that bullshit before. Don't ask me which kingdom. We in our oppressor's kingdom. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other kingdom that we could be in. Go ahead.
Thanks to the I.S.U.P.K, my favorite scripture still to this day, Revelation 1:7, when it say every eye shall see him.
That's right. Give him a hand. That's right, Go ahead, Salaki. That was it. No sweat. So Bukwash, you understand, right? You understand what you're talking about? I think that's it, right? That's it with the deceive. Yeah, that's it. All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
No questions online, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. Bullying. What is bullying? That's the topic I'm going to tonight. What is bullying? Give me some, what is bullying? Go ahead.
I see bullying is one person taking advantage of another person, knowing that if it comes down to a fight, they know they will win it.
In some cases, meaning the person who is doing the bullying know they're gonna win the fight, so they
just automatically they pick on that person because they know that person cannot defend themselves.
So if that's the case, the average cop can't beat a black man. So is the cop bullying us?
Actually, yes, sir.
All right, then. So help me out.
Because they have numbers.
They have power.
Concept.
Right? Bullying it has a power situation attached to it. Right? It's a power situation. Now, with that said, come on.
I was gonna say was I brought the definition, but I got the definition of bully, but I was gonna say along with the power, it's like a cowardly power. It's not it's like a wicked power with somebody that to have to bully someone you know is weaker than you or something of that sort. Like I was gonna say, it's like unrighteous, it's just cowardly.
Okay, I'll take that. Go ahead.
Bully, seek to harm, intimidate someone perceived as vulnerable. To similar words as persecute or oppress or tyrannize.
Okay, read it again from the top.
To seek to harm, intimidate.
You got your hand up?
Oh, sorry.
Just so sweat. You need a paper towel out? You get your brother a paper towel out. Go ahead. No sweater.
From the top. To seek to harm or intimidate someone perceived as vulnerable.
Right, someone perceived as vulnerable. What is that? Kada?
A person being weak to show his weakness.
Somebody who has a weakness. Because, okay, that's why I asked the question. The average concept of bullying is somebody who bigger and stronger bullying somebody who is not as big and not as strong. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It could definitely be the opposite way, but that person is vulnerable in this spot right here. So now I bully them right here. I can't go nowhere else, but this is the spot. Read the definition again.
Come. To seek to harm or intimidate. Someone perceived as vulnerable.
Someone perceived as vulnerable. The perception here is I could come right here and bend and twist you any which way. See, that's the thing. In today's society, you think bullying is some big, strong person going to take your goddamn lunch money. Bullying could just be somebody manipulating you because this is where you're vulnerable. Every single time. And you left feeling like, what just happened? What just happened? The American justice system bullies us because we're vulnerable right here, right in this spot. Get the point? Right in this spot. Are we a weak people? Yeah, but we're strong enough that we built this country. Get the point? No. Bullying to a point doesn't really exist. What is it really?
Shalom, if I could, sir, the fear.
Manipulating.
That's what is being done. Different types of manipulation. What is the whole thing really?
Control.
The whole scenario, the whole dynamic is something else.
Search and destroy.
Which is what? What is search and destroy elements of?
The bullier is looking for that weak spot to get in, and then once they do, they exploit it.
Okay. So then what's the whole thing? I'm gonna let Shapat, since it just come from this side, huh? Go ahead, Shapat.
The whole thing at all will be war.
Thank you. Give him my hand. It's war. Now, America puts feelings on bullying, which is where you get the coward thing from. America puts feelings on bullying. This thing is war. How you stop a bully? Do what? How you stop a bully?
You fight back.
You go to war. You go to war with the bully, where the bully is what? By the definition,
Perceived as vulnerable.
where he's vulnerable. There's nothing else. This is war. It's war. You understand? That whole bullying concept, and he's bullying me and she's bullying me, and just a big it's just pussified. Right? It's just pussified. This is war. This is war. And you, if anything, you are just scared to go to war. That's the end of it. You don't fight yourself on nothing. You don't fight your lust on nothing. How in the hell could you fight somebody who is attacking you? You can't. You don't fight yourself. What's he gonna say? The cigarette bully you into getting cancer? Huh? Did the pork bully you into getting hypertension? That slut bully you into that herpes? Right? It's war. It's war, war, war. How the poet write it? A rose by any other name is still a rose. I don't care about no bullying, psychological, what? It's war, Ark and Akwath. It's war. And if you're not willing to go to war, just, I don't know. Go help make clothes or something. Come on.
It's like I was this Edomite was telling me at the slave was telling me about how he was bullied as a kid, and what he did was crazy. his father was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did was his father would come to schools and teach about, the perils of drugs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, a board with different types of drugs. He took some of the drugs from his father's board and put it in his kid's locker, and then made an anonymous call and got this kid up out of school.
Yeah.
And that's how he stopped bullying.
He went to war. War is strategy. War is tactical. Strategy and tactics. Right? That's what war is. And willingness to fight. Willingness to do what? What happens in war that you have to be willing to go through? Well, that's the final part. I say what happens, meaning happens plural, it happens over and over. What's happening?
Problems or
It's more than problems. You have a problem, that's why you need to go to war. You don't go to war when you don't have no problems. Who the hell does that? Who the hell just, punches everybody in the goddamn face for no goddamn reason? You go to war when there's a problem. I start on a different path, brother. It's a lot here. I can't cross paths. I can't muddy the water. Salakia. Who? Come on.
Salakia, sir, if I could, would it be casualties or sacrifices?
No, I'm gonna get it here for time's sake. All right. You get hurt, and you have to be willing to hurt if you're going to war. Why don't most people go to war?
Because they don't want to get hurt.
You don't want to get hurt. It's the difference. It's the difference with getting hurt. You in a situation, you get hurt. It's a difference when you know, and if I put my hand here, I'm going to get burned, but I have to. I have to do this. And you do it anyway. Get the point? To stand up to that bully, you might have to lose some teeth. You might have to lose some teeth. Some broad might come up to you and ice that jaw after. But you might have to say, Craig, come on, Craig. You get the point? You're going to have to be willing to hurt. If you're not willing to hurt, now you're going to be, you're going to be victimized. You're going to be a victim. You're going to be spoil of war. You're going to be spoil of war all the time. Or, the politically correct term, a victim of bullying. Bullying is war. It's war. It's war. Come on.
That's Salakia, I just had a question.
Please, come on with it now.
Would Goliath have been considered a bully?
No. Why?
Sloppy, sir. I just thought because everybody was scared of Goliath.
If everybody was scared of Goliath, what that makes the other people? Exactly. God damn. Get me, put me with that thing that's in there, please. Go ahead. I see you want to do something. There's something in the back there. There's something back there. It's the most unique buckle. You fix me with it, please, and some of the green stuff on the side of it. Right? The people who don't want to go fighting don't want to go to war. They don't want to get hurt. Get the point? Goliath didn't even start killing everybody, which he could have. Right? What did he say? You don't remember?
Goliath said, send out your champion.
Send out who?
Your champion.
The weakest one.
Your champion.
Give me 10 of your best.
And
he said, your champion. Just send the best one. That's all I need. I need the best one. You can bring it right here now. So what? Give me the best one. That's all I need. So what? Give me the best one. And that's how he was going to decide it. Because why? This is war.
Right.
If I win, why the hell do I want to kill 100 men? Right. Them niggas going to serve me. You get the point? This is war.
Right.
And David likes some war. David said, oh, what? Bet. No sweat. I see what's going on here. Y'all don't want to do this, that, the other? No problem. I'll go handle this.
Right.
David wanted to go to war. Why? Because he was warring for them sheep for a living.
Right.
That was his duty. Sheep. And he killed bears and lions for sheep. Was the sheep his own? There was his father's sheep ark. That's a certain amount of integrity. Which lets you know what? To go to war, you must have what? But guy boy, you're holding the mic. You're hogging the mic out. I see y'all want to be some rappers up in here. I see y'all want to be rappers. You and pass the mic out. God damn. Gotta have this one though. This is the, the quiet storm. this is that quiet storm mic. I'll put it right here. It's the quiet storm mic. You know what I mean? What's this? Hello Vietnam? Is it hello Vietnam? It's Vietnam? Hello Vietnam. Right? To go to war, you must have what? Pass the mic, Pagaiboa.
You must have courage.
Pass the mic, Pagaiboa.
It's like, if I could, integrity, sir.
Pagaiboa, don't let him speak, you're gonna be cutting in on everybody. Hey, let me say something there, just stand up. What's up, Pat? You must have integrity, Integrity must be sound. Integrity must be sound to go to war. You can't have integrity in integration.
Right.
Because integration is what at its core?
Cowardice, compromise.
Compromise. I wouldn't necessarily say cowardice, but it's a compromise. It's a compromise, and now sometimes in war you do it. Most times you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't compromise. You get the point? Integration is a compromise. Therefore, you cannot go to war. It's impossible to go to war. Every other nation that goes to war with the oppressor, are they integrated? No, they're very much segregated. They're very much separate. They're very much so. So they can't go to war. You understand? When it was the Indian embassy, something happened in the Indian embassy. They raped some girl. They withdrew everything and threatened to withdraw from America. When it was American Airlines and they beat up the Korean and broke his jaw. The Korean whatever they have, the whatever organization that protects Korean people in America, their organization. Their organization threatened to pull all the money from America. We're not going to spend. You can look it up. Look up South Korea. I think it's Korean. That's one of them examples. Hold on. The Korean and American Airlines. I think it's American.
And what
pass the mic real quick,
And what you're saying is so heavy too, sir. And if you go look back at the history of America and how the British, they understood that once you separate from a people, it's much easier to go to war with them. And that's why the British insisted on sending troops over here and making them stay in the houses of the colonists, because it's hard to go to war with the people that you are integrated with.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
It's impossible to do it. You can't do it. What was they doing in Vietnam? What was the Vietnamese doing to American soldiers? Every morning the radio, black man, why are you fighting for them?
Right.
We ain't did nothing to them. You ain't did nothing to them. That's how Dennis Rodman's father end up over there and make 10 children over there? 12 children over there?
Like, so I heard a TikTok about this guy who was telling about his uncle who was over there. Who was over there in Vietnam, and he was saying he stayed over there after the war, and even during the war, he I want to say he got captured or something like that, and it was like, why are you fighting? We know who you are. We know what happened to your people. Why are you fighting?
Why are you fighting for them?
It's not with you. It's with them.
It's with them. Once again, that's war.
Right.
That's war.
Right.
So who is the bully? Vietnam or America? America now is attacking where we're vulnerable.
Right.
You integrated with us, go fight. Go fight.
Right.
Cassius Clay. They ain't do this to me. They go to jail.
Right.
aka Muhammad Ali. You get the point? That's bullying. It's war. It's war. It's war. It's a strategy. It's a goddamn tactic. You're going to have integrity to do it. When Muhammad Ali stood up, what did he have that everybody else did not have?
He had integrity.
He had the integrity of the day, which was the Nation of Islam. That was the integrity of the day. That was what everybody looked at as separate and complete and tight, and it gave you something. You understand? It gave you something. It did something for you. You get the point? Now, come on.
It's like if I may, I want to say that's happy what you're saying, because another point is America and the Taliban. America was bullying them for 20 years, and they finally had the integrity to step up and fight back.
And what was their integrity?
To get rid of the enemy, which was America.
Before they get rid of the enemy. Like you think the bully is okay.
So like,
is Mike Tyson a bully?
Nah.
Yes, he's a bully in the goddamn ring. That nigga attack your vulnerability. He looks to see if you're slow, if your jab slow, if you turn slow, and he punish you for being vulnerable. Now you know, the referee's job is slow. Does he go attack the referee? No, he goes at another champion. How did Mike get to where he got in that ring physically? He had to fight himself back. Boxing is a hard sport to train for because it's individual. Any individual sport is very hard to train for. Track and field, boxing, golf, you know, it's not a team sport. It's not somebody going to pick up and run when you don't. You get the point? You had to go fight yourself. And because of that, you had men who was what, 6'4", 6'5"? How was their reaction when they had to fight Mike? They was what? Why? So, what would that mean about their integrity? It wasn't all the way there. Come on.
No, I was going to say that they weren't ready for war.
They had no integrity, Ak. That's what it was. In that context of boxing, they had B and O. They didn't have no X. They had no integrity in that space. That's zero integrity. And it's the same thing in life. It's Satan is not going to attack you where you're strong.
Right.
He's going to attack you where you're weak. In order to not be bullied by Satan, you should have a certain amount of integrity, Ak.
Salaki, sir, I don't know if this is on topic, but
Please. I was just about to write down something.
Acts and First Maccabees, 2:29-37, when they didn't follow Matthias, and they didn't fight because it was the Sabbath. Would that be that the what was it?
Oh boy, you come in with something cold there. You come in some cold piece right there.
Salaki,
Go ahead.
Was it the King Antiochus?
Something like that.
Where he attacked them because he knew they wasn't going to fight on the Sabbath?
No, that's not why he attacked them. He didn't. In fact, he knew they was going to fight. How you know he knew? Okay, not he knew. He thought they was going to fight. How you know he thought they was going to fight? Yeah, remember the details of the story now. Well, that too, but it's something else that's way more telling.
Salaki, so would it be because Matthias and his sons ran to the mountain?
That's not the answer to the question that I asked. But you answered something there. He knew they was going to fight because he told them what? What was the message he sent? Just pull it. Just open the book and pull it out. Just pull it right then and there real quick, all right? And then we get back to this thing right here. Come on, Pagai boy. Where's the mic?
So I think it's in verse 27.
Read it what you have, nice and loud. Real quick, all right?
First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice.
Okay, that's you just skip down now. I ain't talking about Mattathias. I'm talking about them fools that went into the wilderness. How do we know that that Greek king thought they was going to fight or was preparing for if they did fight? What did he tell them?
Verse 29, I think.
Please, come on, let's go.
Come. First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 29. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there.
Keep reading.
Come. Verse 30. Both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them.
Right? Afflictions are increased on them. They didn't want to hurt no more. So they went into the wilderness so they can't hurt no more. That's white flag. I can't even say red flag. I say white flag. That's a new coin right now. Everybody with red flag. Red is blood and all. That means war. That means warfare. And you just scared a little warfare with some red flag. That white flag mean you're full of pussy. You're running. You're scared. You don't want to hurt. So you're waving that white flag. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 31. Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 32, they pursued after them a great number.
Right, so they sent a great number after them because they're preparing for a fight. Go ahead.
Come. And having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. Verse 33, and they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice.
Stop right there. What does that mean? Read that again.
Verse 33, and they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice.
So now when they say they gathered against them and made war on the Sabbath day, they ain't started killing yet, you know. They making war, meaning they coming now preparing. Like somebody say, man, he rolled up on me. Like that. And then they say, let what you've done before be enough. What does that mean? Keep reading. Let me get a little more.
Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live.
All right. What is they telling them?
So like to compromise, to do what the king did, and don't keep your traditions, follow my tradition. They making war with them because they're bullying them. They roll up with an army, they chase them down, they overtake them, they encompass them, and then they say what? Come serve us. I'll put all that bullshit in Jerusalem in the past. You kill some of mine, ain't no sweat. Come serve. Right.
Why? Why they say come serve? Because bodies is more important.
Right.
That's why it's war. It's war. They said they went down into the wilderness because what? The afflictions were sore on them. They don't want to be afflicted no more. They don't want no more hard times. Oh, cry, sorry, sappy ass niggas. They don't want no more hard time. They don't want no, no strife. They don't want no scratches. They don't want nothing. They just want to live and, be merry and be Christian. And they did the most Christian thing. They thought by praying and, appearing what? Appearing how? What is, read on what they did with the Sabbath, where they say we will not fight.
Verse 32, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
Go ahead.
Verse 33, and they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live.
Keep going.
Verse 34. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment.
Hold on. Say it again. We will what?
We will not come forth.
We will not come forth, but
Neither will we do the king's commandment.
Go ahead.
To profane the Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 35. So they gave them the battle with all speed.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 37. But said, let us die all in our innocency.
Let us die what?
Let us die all in our innocency.
What is in this context? What does innocency refer to? Pass the mic for Guy Boy. God damn. Come on, DJ. Come on, run. Let DMC get something now. Go ahead.
In their so-called righteousness.
In their righteousness, but in the topic of the class, they want to die unharmed without being hurt.
Right.
They'll take the death, but they don't want to fight until death. They just want to, just all right, just go ahead and kill me.
Yeah.
And pray the rosaries.
Yeah.
Just want to lay down and die. You can't do that nonsense.
Right.
You cannot do that nonsense. Now, why did they not send the army after Mattathias?
Because they knew he was going to war on the Sabbath.
How they knew he was going to war?
Because he knew this is when the Israelites told that you couldn't do nothing on the Sabbath, like you couldn't cook, nothing like that. Somebody Tithes knew that.
It don't say nothing about that in the scripture. How they knew Mattathias was going to war?
Because he gathered some brothers that was willing to fight.
A little bit more. Pass my back, because hold on. Let me get a crash first.
Like I was gonna say, because he started this whole thing. He's the one who killed the.
It's Mattathias' fault.
It's not his fault.
It is his fault, huh? Give him his credit. God damn. He's the one who did it. Go ahead.
God, so that's what I was gonna say. He started this whole thing.
Okay.
He would not bend or compromise at any level.
Out here, that. Anybody else? Go ahead, Kazak.
So like because they fled into the mountains. Like because Mattathias.
Okay, before that.
Okay, come on.
That's true.
Come on.
But before that, there's something else. The young man up front here. Again.
Salaki, if I could, sir.
Mm-hmm.
When the Jew came and did the idol, I guess worship, if I call it, I'm paraphrasing. He slayed him and his messenger.
That's two. That's the second sign. What's the first sign?
When he refused to do what the king's commandment was.
Before that. You right there. Before that.
I want to mention, wasn't it because he refused to eat the swine?
That's what he just said.
Oh, so
but there's something right before that. It's right there in the Bible. Shapat, you have it?
I'm just gonna say, then he destroyed the altar and all that.
Well, that's after. That's the second one. But there's the first one, which is what we're just talking about. And this is a lesson I want you to take and put in your chest. You understand? In your full-blown chest, and run like the wind with it, or fall off. Or fall off, or not face the attack, but get attacked. And slide to the side. Put it in your chest and run like the wind, Doc. Or else it's only a matter of time. That's all I'm telling you. Who answered? Pagaibawa, come on.
Slaki, sir, I think it's because of Mattathias. He was like very, very sad, sore, seeing the condition of his people.
No, I'm gonna give it to you for time's sake. Anybody else? Last one. You got it?
Salaki, would it be because his forefathers fought before him?
No. That too, but it's specific. Give me verse 14. First Maccabees 2 and 14. No, not 14. Start at 16.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 16. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together.
Mm-hmm.
Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city.
He was a what kind of man?
Thou art a ruler and an honorable.
What kind of man?
An honorable and great man in this city.
Mattathias, above being a ruler and having sons, had integrity. You understand?
Right.
He had integrity.
Right.
Thus, he was ready to do what? He was ready to war. When he told them, come and flee with me to the mountains, that was a call to war. Say, we're going to war now. This way. Not your way. This way. Them who died in the wilderness, why did they die?
Because they didn't follow Mattathias.
Because they didn't listen to the man who the Lord chose. They wanted to do their own thing. And Mattathias, being a man of integrity, he mourned them. But he swore, we will not be like them because they're stupid. You understand? They chose death. We will live. And we will hurt to live. You get the point? We will hurt to live. We're not going to seek comfort. We're not going to seek, niceties and plush life. We are going to hurt to live. Or else we the church act. Get the point? Somebody had their hand up? We good? All right. Now, understanding all of that, integrity, war, willing to go to war. Now, let's take it up to this whole thing, what they call bullying with the school shooter. What did they say about the school shooter in Michigan? Why he popped the school? Because he was getting bullied, right? Why was he getting bullied? You don't know.
I don't know the details of it, but I take it that
I don't want to guess. I want why was he getting bullied?
Someone saw a vulnerability and they exploited it.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. What proof do you have that he was getting bullied? Did they provide any? A tweet, Facebook, some record of they just saw a little goofy white kid with glasses, and everybody buy the shit. They just had some little white dwarf pretend to be, retarded and got a whole ton of money, remember? And cry and say he was being bullied. And everybody gave him a GoFundMe, and that nigga was in Jordans and trainers and, living it up. And they call him Tyrion Lannister because he had money like Tyrion from Game of Thrones. But they say that's being bullied, right? Don't be a sucker. That's not being bullied. I'm going to tell you who was bullied. Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges was bullied at 6 years old for the rest of her life and never shut up the school. Anybody know who Ruby Bridges is? Come on, let me hear.
She's one of the 4 children that went to the first integrated school.
One of 4? I ain't sure about that. I'll check your history.
Yeah, she was that one little girl on the stairs surrounded by all the sheriffs.
One little girl, 6 years old, and being escorted in by sheriffs, federal cases, walking to the school, and throngs of oppressors throwing shit, yelling expletives, and she had to go to school in that act. These oppressors' parents withdrew their kids from her class for an entire year. She went to school for a year by herself. She didn't bust one cap. She didn't bring one revolver to the school. Not one. She didn't try to commit suicide or nothing. What the hell is this fool problem? You in a whole school with you can't find some old nerdy girl to go have glasses sex with. Rub them old big Coca-Cola frames together and oh yeah. Just go have some crazy old nerd sex with. You can go find some old emo, some old black nail painting, 6 foot long keychain wearing 7-inch heel broad to go have sex with her. You gotta go shoot everybody up. Why Ruby Bridges didn't do it?
Because she had integrity, sir. She had knowledge of self from her parents.
Okay, well now I'm flip it on you, Salaki. Okay, she did have a certain amount of warfare, but Ruby Bridges, though she faced the bullying, she was ill-prepared, I would say. Not ill-prepared, but prepared for a wrong war. That was the wrong war for that girl. That a 6-year-old should not have been put in that situation, right. Much less a 6-year-old girl.
Right.
Who was her bullies? Nope. Nope.
The government.
Nope.
Our leaders?
Yes. Why the fuck they didn't go in the class? Why didn't they walk up in that school? Because like you send your daughter in that environment? Was her parents walking in with her? Who orchestrated that whole thing? Knowing what you know now, you think that her parents willingly said, yeah, go ahead? No. Her bullies were her leaders, Ak. They made the wrong choice. Anybody know what Ruby Bridges does now? What did she graduate school to become? I'm sure she was an open heart surgeon. PhD in law. She cured cancer. She was in the team that was studying to cure cancer. Pull it up. Just pull up the story of Ruby Bridges.
As far as what I have with Ruby Bridges, it says work as a travel agent before.
Wait, hold on, sis. What? She did what?
Says Ruby Bridges worked as a travel agent before becoming a stay-at-home mother. In 1993, she began working as parent.
So she went to school and broke barriers and desegregated to become a fucking travel agent and a mommy? She could not do that at a black school?
Right.
And some brother wrote a book, The Green Book, was telling black people where to go when they travel. He was like a travel agent. So she go through all that trauma for what? Nothing. That's bullying. That's real bullying. You get the point? That's real. Not what that fool went through there in Michigan, and they ain't even saying what he went through. I ain't see one tweet. Yeah, you ugly looking freak with glasses. Nothing. If he was bullied, show me the history. Show me the history. He switched school 10 times. He was beaten up, suffered a broken nose, blah, 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 blah. Show me. You can't show me. Maybe he's just the devil and he's estranged from the womb. We get bullied and we don't shoot your schools up. We beg to join them. We really are the victims of your bullying and we beg to join them. Our leaders have ill-prepared us for real warfare. Have really ill-prepared us for warfare. Have not given us integrity. I'm sure you catch Ruby Bridges now one-on-one over some coffee and her favorite food. She'll tell you, maybe I should have, fought more for a black school. Maybe this was a mistake. I'm sure she would say it, seeing the fruit of her labor. And at 6 years old, why should she have to go through that? A 6-year-old, even back then, I understand back then the age it was more of a maturity younger. But even back then, a 6-year-old is ill-equipped for that type of shit. Solitary confinement has sent adults crazy. You put a 6-year-old in solitary confinement? You take all the children out of the class and let her go in there, and she knows she's in a class by herself because of how she looks at 6 years old. You know what kind of psychological damage she probably went through? How much people she killed? She didn't even have an abortion, you mean? She didn't kill nobody. But this fool got 2 parents, 3 guns, going to a good-ass school, and all he want to do is kill people? Maybe you're just the devil.
That's right.
Maybe you're just estranged from the womb.
That's right.
You are just the devil the Bible speaks of. That's all. That's it. You got someone? Yeah, I see your face. What happened? What are you looking at?
No, somebody is just something on here. I don't know what that is.
Well, just block it. What is it?
Times.
What is it?
It's someone saying. It's different people saying. Tech. I'm not sure.
Let's block it out. Block it. Right click on the thing, the little 3 dots, and ban them from the room. Ban them from the room. You know what I mean? You can't come in here and bully because we should for sure go to war with you.
Right.
No, give me this. Give me the 3 most important landmark cases from the Supreme Court that affected Black people.
Brown versus Board of Education.
That's 1. You should write that down, huh?
The abortion law. I'm not sure what that law was, but the abortion law.
Okay.
Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
And that Loving versus Virginia.
No. That was one of them, but that didn't affect Black people as much.
Okay. Is it the Civil Rights Act of in the 60s of the MLK's crap?
This is a landmark case. Anybody else?
I would say if it's not Plessy versus Ferguson, would it be?
Well, Plessy versus Ferguson is tied to Brown versus Board of Education. Because the Plessy versus Ferguson, the ruling with Plessy, go ahead, break it down. Easy, Mike.
They ruled that schools can be separate but equal. Right.
The Plessy versus Ferguson ruling was for segregated schools.
Right.
That schools must be separate but equal. And they would only allow to be separate or segregated if they ensured that they were equal, meaning equal education, equal supplies, equal whatever amenities and facilities you would use to educate the white school, the Black school must get it. Right. And of course, even until today, Black schools don't have the same things as white schools. Right. So now that's what led up to Brown versus Board of Education. Okay. Somebody pull it up real quick, right? And that's where you get this Ruby Bridges situation coming from. Right. You had that Brown versus Board of Education in lieu of Plessy versus Ferguson. You also have Roe v. Wade, which is what you were just talking about, the abortion law. I think that was in the 70s, 76 or something like that. Right. Then you have Dred Scott versus not Missouri. He lost that one. It was his wife's last name. Scotland? Not his wife, his slave master's wife last name. I think it's Dred Scott versus Scotland. Right? They're the 3 most impactful Supreme Court cases that affect Black people. Sanford, Salakia. All right. Who are the Brown versus Board of Education? Go ahead. Okay, we're getting used to holding that mic. He must be ready to take that test out. He's like, you got it. Go ahead.
Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka. 347 U.S. 483. The year 1954 was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled that U.S. state laws establishing racial segregation in public schools are unconstitutional.
Right. Hold that. Does it have Plessy versus Ferguson in that what you're reading? All right, keep going.
Even if the segregated schools are otherwise equal in quality, the court's decision partially overruled its 1896 decision, Plessy versus Ferguson, declaring that the separate but equal notion was unconstitutional for American public schools and educational facilities. It paved the way for integration and was a major victory of the civil rights movement, and a model for many future impact litigation cases.
Right. So now the Plessy versus Ferguson is separate but equal.
Right.
Right. We could be separate, but could be equal. But of course, having the U.S. government, racism, white schools was getting more facilities, better books, better, schools,
Right.
stuff like that. Black schools wasn't getting so much. However, between when was slavery abolished? 1865. When was Plessy versus Ferguson? 1896. So between 1865 and 1920 or 40. Look up how much HBCUs was founded after. You already know it. Come on.
127. Sir.
Say it again.
127 HBCUs.
Was founded when?
From the time of slavery till about the 40s.
All of them. Between 1866 to the 40s, you had over 100 historically Black colleges and universities that produced all your doctors, your lawyers, your professionals, your teachers, your engineers, your caretakers. But in when is Ruby Bridges? Ruby Bridges was 19
1954, sir.
In 1954, that's when she was born? I think that's when she was born. 1960, right? 1960s when she went into the school? What year? Somebody look it up real quick. Hold on.
1960 concert.
1960. She fought to go to one white school when there was 100 plus Black universities founded by Black people out of slavery.
Right.
What happened really with the civil rights movement, if you've been paying attention all night?
It was compromised.
Just didn't want to hurt no more.
Yep.
I just don't want to hurt no more.
Concert.
I just don't want to hurt no more, man. I just make it stop. Make it stop. Come on. No sweat. It's about that time. Right? Make it stop. Somebody take over for the brother, right? They'll pass the mic around too. That's what really happened. Like they would tell the story as if Black people had no schools. Right. And we just grew up learning how to tend to horses and goats with no education. That was not the truth. That was not the truth. Absolutely not. Because she fought for this school, not she herself. But this Ruby Bridges went to this school and later became a travel agent and a housewife. And I'm not down in travel agents or housewives, but that's a hell of a war with very little spoil. Like you would think she would, she'd be Oprah. Yeah. You know what I mean? She'd be, open heart surgeon or, where's all that good white education that you fought for? Where's all that good white education that you went to, you went to war for? Right. I ain't seeing it. I'm really not seeing it. Let me get some more on the Brown versus Board education, please. Whoever was reading. Oh, is Bakwashi was reading?
It was
Pagaiba, no sweat.
What else you want on the shirt? I'll keep reading. The court's decision partially overruled its 1896 decision, Plessy versus Ferguson, declaring that the separate but equal notion was unconstitutional for American public schools and educational facilities.
Right? It was unconstitutional for American public schools and educational facilities. Public schools, because of course, private schools, you could do what the hell you want. Right. We could have formed our own private schools. We could have enhanced our own private schools. Instead, we fought to go to their public schools to become travel agents. Right. Because that's what Ruby Bridges became. Right? They try to clean it up now and say she was an activist and this and that and the other. I'm not attacking the sister. She didn't know any better. And at 6 years old, she should not have been put on any front line like that. Right. It was absolutely heinous. You know how, imagine, they stormed the Capitol because they hated what was happening with Blacks and Hispanics. Right. Imagine what really was going on down there while, y'all drive safe, all right? Imagine what was going on down there. Why they put this little girl in a class with their little, fairy tale. Where they put the girl, this little black girl in the class with their Goldilocks, or their little Cinderella daughter. Imagine how they was dealing with us down there. Read, who holding Ruby Bridges? Somebody was holding it. Pull up Ruby Bridges. I think they said they went on. Her father went on to get fired from his job. I think her mother's people, they evicted them off of their sharecropping land. They couldn't sharecrop. The family couldn't buy in stores no more. They wanted them to die out. Because they forced this little 6-year-old girl to go to some school in is Alabama or Louisiana? I think they was originally from Mississippi, right? But they moved to Alabama or something like that for new jobs or some shit like that. Louisiana, right? Find me the part where they say what happened to the family. It might have it there in that history. I don't know. Right? I think her father lost the slavery. The mother's people or the grandparents or somebody like that was sharecroppers in what, 1960? They like to talk about slavery was over? Or the family was, into something. They evict them off of it. They stopped letting them shop in the stores. You're talking about slavery being over. Now that's bullying. But really, they are going to war with the civil rights movement. And what's vulnerable is this little girl. You understand? Anybody find it yet? Ain't no more on it? Ain't no sweat. Let me get some more on the Brown versus Board of Education. Right? Before you go there, give me James 4:1.
The book of James, chapter 4, verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you?
Mm-hmm.
Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members?
What does he say? Read it one more time.
From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members?
What does he say? Read one more time, man.
The book of James, chapter 4, verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you?
From whence come wars and fightings among you?
Is the whence where?
Yeah.
So
from where? Pass the mic.
So like James is saying that he's saying like, where does wars and fightings come from among you as brothers? Like it comes from the lust that we have in ourselves.
At the root of it, Doc, that's what it is. And what was the root of the war, the bullying that Ruby Bridges experienced? What was the root of it? Besides not wanting to hurt anymore.
Like people want to be accepted
By
whites.
In other words, we love our oppressor and want to be him at whatever cost.
Right.
That is a lust.
Right.
To love your oppressor is an insane lust, like homosexuality, like loving whores. It's an insane lust, and because of that, you have a warfare that's going on that should not go on. It comes from the lust. You get the point? Right. If there was no lust to join America, we would have the same 120. Look up how many HBCUs exist today in 2021. Look it up real quick. Kazak, one more time. I have a napkin already.
No sweat.
So you said 21. and then the rest. So what? In 2021, how much HBCUs are existing? Go ahead.
It says there are 107 HBCUs across the United States enrolling, but 107 HBCUs.
Enrolling what?
Enrolling more than 228,000 students.
Are they giving you the students? No sweat. So there's 107 HBCUs from 126 that the brother quoted, right? What does that mean? So between 1860 some when slavery was abolished to the 1940s and 50s, just around the time civil rights movements was birthed, not the actual height of it. Not the actual height of it, but just when it started, budding. You had 120 something. Now you have 107. Right. So between civil rights and now, we went backwards. Yep. And back then, because of Plessy versus Ferguson, white people was not in the oppressor's children, was not sitting in our HBCUs. Right. Howard was named after an oppressor. Yeah. Howard is not a black man. Right. And who's up in Howard now?
The oppressor.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus.
How many niggers? Our HBCUs are filled with more heathens than black folk. Right. So it's no longer historically black. Right. Really, it's actually historically black because in history it was black. Right. But now it's not. Right. Somebody will say, had a hand up? Slack. Ain't no sweat. Go ahead,
It's like, if I may, sir, it's crazy.
It's crazy
that you say that because, one, Howard University is the #1 HBCU that allows the enrollment of other races of people. It has a higher enrollment of other races instead of black people. And then, two, snake-eating Kamala Harris, her big head self, she, as a heathen, went to an HBCU and got her so-called
black card,
right, from an HBCU. And black people now were beguiled into thinking this is a sister and put her all the way up into a position where they could have put a regular sister from the ghetto in that same position.
They could have put Ruby Bridges in that same position. Why Ruby Bridges paid the price? She paid the cost to be the boss. And at 6 years old, she was put in war. Right. Where was Kamala Harris at 6 years old? They about the same age, right? They got to be about the same age. Where was she at 6 years old? Go ahead, let me hear.
Sir, on the topic of war, I just see with the HBCUs that none of the head Negroes in charge are fighting to teach black people critical race theory. Then they have no fight within them to we're going to teach our brothers and sisters critical race theory.
Well, it comes down to the integrity again. Because guess what? Most of your so-called woke and educated professors and professionals value their oppressor friends or their oppressor spouses or the oppressor's check. You get the point? The integrity is gone. Once integrity is gone, you cannot stand for the truth. It's impossible to stand for the truth. You can't do it. You can't stand. Right. The integrity of something is, it's what holds it together. A vessel, a boat, the integrity is solid. It goes through inspection. It has to pass inspection. A car tire has to pass inspection, and it says of good integrity. Right. It's maintaining its integrity under pressure, under stress. Once you start losing integrity, brother, you're open game. You might as well just stick a target on your back. See, that's where Satan is coming, because again, from the definition, bullying is an attack or intimidation as what is as perceived as vulnerable. Right here. This is the spot right here. And I'm hitting you there. You would be wise to know where you're vulnerable. You would be wise to know where it is, because that's where the attack is coming. Right. We all have one common vulnerability, which is what? If you get this one, I'm going to donate a bottle of juice. because I know your vulnerability of juice. I watch over you like a hawk till you're offended when I watch you. Of juice. You want some Kool-Aid? Which one you like? Red? Grape? A bottle of, methylated spirit. I gave you a bottle of 10W30 for your car. I just said a bottle. Okay. I know them that labor among you. I know your vulnerability. Mine too. Let's go. My baby voice. We all, big and small, short, tall, old, young, brother, sister.
Enduring to the end.
No. Enduring to the end or not enduring to the end is a symptom of that vulnerability. Pass the mic around too, all right? Because I don't know how it's going to pick up on this. No sweat, you good. Anybody else? We all have one. Come on, Shapat. I know you got it. I know you got it. Just by the way you raise your hand right there.
It's like y'all just go materialistic and say finance.
No.
No.
That whatever issue comes from the finance is because of that vulnerability. It's a symptom of the vulnerability.
I just wanted to
Mike?
You said we all. When you say we all, this is including us in here too?
I'm only talking to us in here. I ain't talking to nobody else. I'm talking to us. I ain't talking to the oppressor. I ain't talking to Kamala Harris and her people. I ain't talking to Kim Jong-un. I'm talking to us.
Love for our oppressor.
That's a symptom of it. That's not the vulnerability. We have one kryptonite that affects us all. Each one of us have our own personal kryptonite, our personal vulnerability. As a people, we have one. Go ahead. Pass the mic. I'm going to get some boom mics to hang down like on TV. On the camera, they're going to see a little football hanging. Go ahead.
So like maybe we do go to the school, we got to get them chairs and stuff
about Star Trek chairs.
Yeah, Star Trek chairs.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to sum it up and just say plus.
That's a symptom of the one vulnerability we all suffer from.
Oppression.
That's not a symptom. That's the attack that we suffer because of the vulnerability. Check online. Somebody online gonna have it. I'm sure about it.
Salaki, sir, but he
no sweat, sis. Could the mic reach over there? No sweat. Go ahead.
Is it our leaders?
Our leaders take advantage of our vulnerability. Go ahead, Kaga. No. 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 And the word is no. No, 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 no. And the word is no. Go ahead, Ak. Go ahead, what was going to say?
Sadaki, I was just going to say I love others.
That's a symptom.
Online, there's a couple answers. Yeah, man, Calvin that said oppression.
That's an attack because of the vulnerability.
Rapava now said brotherhood.
Give her a hand. She paying attention. Brotherhood. That's okay. If there's brotherhood, what financial problem do we have? My bills is yours, huh? Yours is mine. If there's brotherhood, there is no lust to join the oppressor.
Right.
If there's brotherhood, what some of the answers you all say? There is no love for the oppressor. If there is brotherhood, what else you say? The oppression. The oppression is the attack that we could buffer.
Right.
Whatever we're going through. Child support could be stopped with brotherhood act. It could be stopped if she loves him enough to not put him down. And then he go get 6 more. And when she loses slavery, here's your unemployment. 10% from each of the other 5.
Right.
I say something wrong? You sure?
Nah.
You're looking at me like I say something wrong, though. Come on.
Where does compassion fit in there? Is that brotherhood?
It's brotherhood. It's brotherhood, but you didn't compassion. Still, I wouldn't let that go out. No, you had to say brotherhood out. You have to say it. That's brotherhood would not put this girl in this situation. This is a time where people getting pulled off the street and hung and lynched. Why would you put a 6-year-old girl in that situation? Who's teaching her? A sister or oppressor? Who is her security? An oppressor or a brother? Why would you do that to her? That Ruby Bridges, I could guarantee she's a little bit messed up in the head right now, brother. I guarantee she's a little bit messed up in the head right now. That was a traumatic experience to be at war at 6 years old. To be at war at 6 years old and not see a face that looked like yours for 8 hours every day. You sleep for 8, you're at school for 8, and then the rest of the 8 is just joking around. That's 1/3 of your life. Not even 1/3, half, because you sleep the next third. So the next 2/3 is broken up into 2. For half your woke life, you see in the faces of oppressors telling you how you look like shit, how you're a monkey, how your skin is feces stained, you smell nasty, you this, you that. For half your life. To become a travel agent? Right. So you can't even deliver a baby? You can't deliver puppies. You can't do sutures if I get stabbed. You can't not even an RN, sis. Come on. Once again, I'm not blaming her. I'm just showing you what is the spoil of that war. The civil rights movement, and we did this and we did that. Right. Well, where's the spoil from your war? What's going on today that we could say, you know what, man, it's a good thing they fought, they did this. Ruby Bridges went in that school. Now look at us. We graduating nuclear physicists. Where is it? It's nowhere. She suffered it. She didn't shoot up the school, though. She ain't shoot up the school because she was bullied, though. Right. But we still don't got no prize. But she didn't shoot the school up. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
So like if I may, sir, I remember my old man when I was in the world, I was hanging with this group of junkies.
Mm-hmm.
They were junkies, and there was this older sister. She was older, and I remember her. Everybody was getting high. I remember she just bust out crying because at this point I started to hear about the truth. So I started, being around and start trying to, stand up and say certain things like that. And I remember I said something and it set her off. When I was like, yeah, the white man, the devil. As we all getting high, but,
right?
I'm still hearing about the truth. And I remember she bust out crying, and we was talking, and I'm like, yo, why you crying? And then she said she never forgave her parents because she's from North Carolina, and she was one of the first ones in North Carolina to go to desegregate the schools. And she was telling me how the white kids used to put thumbtacks on her chair.
Damn.
They used to pull her hair.
I think they used to do that to that Ruby Bridges too. The thumbtacks thing. That thing sounds familiar. Go ahead.
Sir, and they used to pull her hair. Basically she went through absolute terrorism. And it's like, it's no wonder we sitting here and we all getting high, but it's like I'm looking at it, I was like, yo.
And this is an older sister.
She was older, but she
jammed up.
She was all the way jammed up.
She jammed up because once again, this was a war that was fought for naught.
Right.
This was a war that really wasn't a war.
Right.
This was, I don't want to hurt no more. Right? What would have been better? Going to a school with the oppressor and sitting on thumbtacks and people pulling your hair, or walking a few extra miles to a school that leaks during the rain, but you learn about your nation and maintain your integrity. Right. That would have been better. Hurt. Choose the hard path. Right. Choose the hard path so much. Somebody has to tell you, well, brother, listen, you ain't got to do that. Yeah, sis, you ain't got to do all of that. Do the easy thing. But don't choose the easy thing. You understand? Right. Don't choose that easy thing. That's where, that's the beginning of your end. Yep. That's the beginning of your end. You get the point? Let me get James back again. You could continue from wherever we are. Go ahead.
James chapter 4, verse 2. Ye lust and have not.
Ye lust and have not. That alone right there, it's, you can't gloss over that. What does that mean? Ye lust and have not. Go ahead.
Like if I may, sir, I want to say this kind of go on the topic of my topic
We got the
yesterday,
thing?
sir. When I talked, my topic yesterday's class was the love of money is the cause of our poverty. And it's like, because we lust after these things is the very reason why we don't have it.
That's it. Now, if we had a lust for brotherhood,
Right.
we wouldn't be poor.
Right.
We wouldn't have no poverty.
Right.
There would be no need for anything because the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Right.
You understand? You need something, it's in that brother, it's in that sister.
Right.
But because we lust after it, because we misplaced in how we see things, because we don't have no brotherhood, you lust and you have not.
Right.
You're wanting.
Right.
Go ahead.
Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have.
Ye what?
Ye kill and desire to have.
Go ahead.
And cannot obtain.
We kill and desire. We kill. You go to war. You fight and take down some civil rights. Now we could sit on the same toilet. We ain't obtain nothing.
Right.
Nothing. When you go to war, count the cost.
Right.
We have nothing to count. We have nothing. But it cost us a lot, though. What it cost us? School to prison pipeline. Since Roe v. Wade, how many abortions in the black community? Since Roe v. Wade to now, estimates are very conservative, extremely conservative, to protect the image of our oppressor.
Right. I believe it was 70 million, sir.
70 or 17?
70.
Check and see. I think it's in the teens, though. I don't think it's that much. If it's that much, well, Salaki. I'm the one conservative.
Salaki, if I could, going back to what Officer Kazakaman said, to lust and have not, that wouldn't be jealousy, that would be to covet?
Okay, you mean on a personal level or on a national level?
On a personal level?
On a personal level, the lust is the brotherhood. Not lusting for the brotherhood, but the lust is making you not see the brotherhood. So let's say you lust in, Jake and he will lust after another man's woman. You can't see the brotherhood there because you're destroying the brother. And you're destroying that sister and her father. You get the point? You're dishonoring them. You get the point? Lusting over some job or some position. Jake in the world will do what to you? You cut your throat for it. He'll do some sneaky shit on the job to make you look bad and make him look better. Brotherhood doesn't allow for that. Brotherhood is being considerate. Brotherhood is being selfless. There's another aspect of brotherhood I'm going to before we finish the class. All right? So on a personal level, it's more brotherhood. On the national level, it's brotherhood. It's brotherhood all around that. Like, that's the only thing. Give me Zephaniah 2:1. Please.
I got the abortion numbers too, sir.
Go ahead, please.
An estimated 62 million abortions have occurred.
Yikes.
Since Roe v. Wade.
Well, that's overall. I think that's overall. That's not the black community.
Okay,
I think that's overall. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is January.
Check the mic.
That stat is from January, so we all the way in.
That's January 2021.
The 62 million is 2021.
2021. That's enough. Shit. We ain't gotta count this year. I mean, unless they murder, 55 million this year. Right. I'll take the 62 million. Right. But that 62 million is everybody. That ain't just us. Right. Now, how much of that do you think we account for? I think it's about 18 or 19 million. Right, that's damn near a quarter. Of 62. Yeah, that's a little more than a quarter. That's like 26, 27%. 15, yeah. That's a little more than a quarter. And we what percent of the population? 10. Some say 13, some say 9. Somewhere around there. We ain't a quarter.
It says 19 million black.
19. Black. Not Hispanic. Not Native Indian. You see what I'm talking about? That? Now that's Roe v. Wade. So you have Roe v. Wade, we killing the children. If they survive, they gotta go sit on tax and let people pull their hair. Right. If they survive. What's the third landmark case? Dred Scott versus Sanford. Somebody look that up real quick. Real quick, I want it short. I don't want to go too much into it. Vaguely remember. Read it.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourself together. Yea, gather together, O nation that desire.
Gather together. It's brotherhood. It's sisterhood. Come together, man. Gather together, O nation not desired. Though you desire, though you lust, you have not. Because you not desired. You lusting over this, but this ain't lusting over you. Is America lusting over you? Over the past couple of days, I stumbled, for sure the Lord, I stumbled over some people who was present with the courtroom. I watched an interview with the dude who was the bodyguard for Kyle Rittenhouse. And of course, he cool as he could be. But he's talking about facts of the case that somehow I ain't never heard in the media. Right? Like the state lines that he crossed is literally a few blocks. It's not like he drove hours. That's what they're saying. Anyway, but you hearing certain facts of the case and it's like, they tried to make it out like this boy, it was really self-defense. Right. And he did this and he did that. Versus the fact that they had brotherhood for him. They had real, true life compassion. He's just a boy. They bring in that aspect that you're looking at it like he's a man because he has an AR-15. But what was you doing at 17 years old? Think about all the dumb shit you was doing. You'll ask why he was there. He was there to render first aid. He had the gun as a deterrent. Meanwhile, a brother, they said Michael Brown was a man, was Hulk. That's what Darren Wilson said. Darren Wilson said it felt like Hulk was in the car. How old was Michael Brown? 16, 17, 15? I think it's about that because he was still in high school, just ready to go to college. At most 17, if he was a little slow in high school, if he just stayed back a few years. 17 years old, but he's Hulk. And somehow Kyle Rittenhouse ain't the American sniper. That's brotherhood at its finest. That's brotherhood at its finest. And that's why the UPK is so special. Because what that judge and that lawyer did for Kyle Rittenhouse, by not a lot, they have Rittenhouse on tape saying, watching a store being looted, saying, if I had my AR right now, I would fire rounds at them. I would shoot them. Specify the gun, specify intent. The judge says he threw out that as evidence. That's inadmissible. I admire what that judge did. I envy that. And because of that, I decided to devote my life to going on the street corner and advocating for those who are not desired. Right. I'll go advocate for every reject of America. Right. And advocate at them even if they hate what I'm advocating for them. Right. I'll go to war with them for them. That's what that judge did. See, that judge tell the prosecutor something. And the prosecutor said, well, judge, I wasn't saying that. Remember, you said so and so. And then the judge realized, okay, well, he was talking shit. Right. And he said, well, whatever. Anyway, he just override the shit, even though the prosecutor was really making a point. Because they really love that little boy. And they don't care. Because rioting and protest, they blame that on black people. Even though the provocateurs were oppressors. Even though the ones who was bombing the police stations was oppressors. All the ones he shot, 3 out of the 4 he shot was oppressors. So that ain't our fault, but they associate everything with Jacob Blake, with Michael Brown, with George Floyd. This was a message that if you want to go to that protest and straighten that nigger shit out, you could get off. Just study the laws. Wisconsin say you got to retreat for a certain amount of feet. for it to be self-defense. That nigga ran. I saw him running with the gun. And then he turned around and started letting off. Why are you even down there? You ain't going to Afghanistan. You ain't trying to be deployed. So you can't be all for justice. You can't be all for protecting American interests. I didn't see you signing up. You ain't enlisting. Right? You're not enlisting. Meanwhile, who going out there? Brothers and Hispanics and Native Indians. We going out there. We the one enlisting. We the one enlisting and coming back and complaining that you feel more at war on the streets of America than in Kabul, in Syria, in Lebanon. You feel more at war there. You survive that and come home and a cop put 6 in your back. But this boy, he get to do whatever and you don't ship him to war? That nigga know how to kill. I'd send him out there. I'd send him out there. Let him go be, one of them General Milley. You get the point? But no, they have a certain amount of brotherhood that we need to understand. Right. We don't have. You get the point, please?
So, like, if I may, there was an incident that I think it happened years ago. It was some Edomites that went to Africa for vacation, and I guess they molested some African kids. And they caught them and they put them in court. And this was on YouTube, and they were celebrating. They gave them life in prison. Oh yeah. You see them celebrating. Because they give the Edomite life in prison in Africa, and he can't come back from molesting an African child. Right. But I was going to use that incident to show how we don't have that in America, because we have so many sisters in America that get molested and raped, get caught, but we look for the oppressors for justice. Well, they ain't integrated that. Remember, after apartheid, they didn't seek to join. Right. They didn't seek to join the what is that, Dutch? That's Dutch people. That's the or Belgium. I think it's Dutch. Dutch and Belgium. Yeah, they didn't seek to join the Dutch people and the Belgian people. Right. They wanted a separate nation, a separate state. They had their own language, Afrikaans. Yeah, you get the point? They wanted to remain. They wanted to keep their integrity. Right. So you could have that. But whatever they do to us, Simone Biles, she had to take that on the chin though. She got molested here from another nation in a gymnastics ran somewhere in Texas, ran by oppressors who was run out of Ukraine. I think when they tore down the wall, when Mr. Gorbachev tore down the wall, they came and set up this gymnastics ranch down there, way out West Bumfuck, all the way out somewhere. And people drop their kids off there for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. And them girls get starved because their diet is from them people. They get starved and molested. It's not war because, she's part of our society. And this is what we do in our society. Go ahead.
Salaki, sir, I just wanted to say I don't understand how the oppressor has bullied his way into making himself seem to be the most peaceful being on the earth. And it seems like everyone believes this.
Everyone believes it because everyone does not have integrity. Once you lose the integrity, you're going to believe the medicine is evil, and you're going to believe the evil thing is medicine. You're going to call good evil, and you're going to call evil good. Right. You understand? Once you don't have the integrity anymore, why are you going to call good evil and evil good? If it's every time sick, because of your lust. Why would whores give you AIDS? Why is strip club still open? Why is brothers still paying for sex? Lust is strong and all. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't explain it too well. I didn't say it in the class at all. Lust is a powerful thing. It's absolutely powerful. Whatever you're lusting over, it's powerful, it's strong. And it's going to cause you to do away with the brotherhood in it. It's going to cause you to you're not going to consider it. And because you don't consider it now, that's where that room between your lust, that room in between your lust and the brotherhood is enough for Satan to play. And that's the end of it. Right. That's Ruby Ridges. That's your civil rights. That's everything. Right. On a national scale, on an individual scale. If you're not going to go to war with it, you're going to be a slave to it. Right. And that's just that. And there's no getting out of it. There's no getting around it. There's nothing you can do. You get the point? War is everything. That's it. No, the war you're going to have to rage is going to have to be the righteous war. Or else you're warring for something else. You could go to war and you could be a huge warrior. Esau is a warrior, but what is he warring for? What is Esau warring for? What is he fighting for?
His lust.
What is his lust?
Homosexuality, all type of stuff.
That's tools of his war. What is he warring for?
He wants a kingdom right now.
What kingdom? Sis?
Power.
What power he want? That's the closest answer, but what power?
So like, if I mean, he wants to beat the Most High.
Yes, that's in Thessalonians. Seeming to be the Most High, to sit in the temple of the Most High.
Right.
He'll go to war with it. And his tools of war is everything against the Lord.
Right.
That's his lust. He go to war for that. No problem. He gonna get his. What should you desire?
So like to follow the Most High. To
You're right. On topic.
Brotherhood.
You should desire brotherhood. You should desire brotherhood. And you have to be willing to go to war for brotherhood.
Right.
You mean Matthew 18 and 15. This is your tools for war.
the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee.
Say it again.
Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass.
Hold on. Before you get there, let me finish James 4, Salakia. 4 and 3. Four and 3, real quick, then we go to Matthew 18.
James chapter 4, verse 3. Ye ask and receive not.
Say it again.
Ye ask and receive not.
Why is that important? Why is that important to, in fact, keep reading, Salaki.
Come. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss.
Say it again.
Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss.
Why is that important? Why is that scripture there so important? Why is that even in there? Go ahead.
It sounds like everything that we ask for is like it's not of the Most High, the lust of this world, and this is why we don't receive.
You ask amiss. You asking, and you getting frustrated because you ain't receiving. You don't know what you're asking for. You think you're asking for something. Really, you're asking for something else. Go ahead.
I don't know the exact precept, but when it says when you praying for what you want, but
Salaki, go ahead. Let's speak up until you get the mic out.
When it says you're praying for what you want, but
Praying for what you want, but the Lord knows your spirit, what you want in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a good precept?
That's a precept to understand it. That's a good precept to understand. Meaning that there's more so for when you're broken. You're broken after asking so much and receiving nothing, and you just at the wit's end, and it's like you're broken. And now the Lord, you asking for something, and the Spirit, that's the scripture where it says the Spirit make intercession for you because of your groanings, because you're going through pain. You're going through something. That's more so for that. But you could use it to understand this, because now you're not receiving what you asked for because you ask amiss. Now, this is something a little bit different than that. You understand? This is, just think when you was in the world and you was just like, man, I'm tired of this life, man. Why is this always happening? Why is that always happening? I can't take this no more. I can't go through this no more. And you're crying unto the Lord for whatever, and the Lord understands your groanings. This is a little bit different, right? Why is this different? Because this is Paul writing to James, our apostle, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, right? This is brothers and sisters who following the Lord, who in here, right? You frustrated because you ask amiss. You ask, but you're not asking for what you should ask for. Go ahead.
That ye may consume it upon your lust. Verse 4.
That's what you're really asking for. You asking for something that you can consume. What should you be asking for?
It's like forgiveness.
That's true. It's something else. Says wisdom to do what?
How to treat your brother.
I'll take that.
Wisdom or strength to overcome your lust.
You could ask that. And the lust here is, think vulnerability, because there's some lust that you don't think is a lust, but it's vulnerable. You understand? For instance, the tribe of Benjamin is very heavy into family, very family oriented. Right? The quintessential Benjamite comes from the islands, gets 2 or 3 jobs, and every month or every week goes to Target or goes to the clearance aisle and buys sneakers and cologne and fills up a barrel and sends back home for the family. That's typical Benjamin, right? The family is so much part of it. And how could that be a detriment in the truth? How could that be something that's anti in the truth?
Because you can only look at your family as those that are your immediate family versus those.
You could only look at your family as the immediate and the tribe.
Right.
But now you come into the truth. Who is my family? Them that do the will of the Lord.
Right.
So now that barrel is for Haiti. Right. Now that barrel is for Issachar. Now that, what my work is for Judah. My work is for Ephraim. You get the point? So now that's a lust. The lust is, in this case, the lust meaning the vulnerability would be the affinity to family. Everything is family. Now, who is the family? Right. So it's not so much so you drive. You just need redirection. Yep. You're asking for something. Lord, help me provide for my family. Well, guess what? If the 12 tribes stand up, you wouldn't have to provide for your family. Right. The other nations will, because we'll be in rulership. Right. Go get the 12 tribes to stand up. Right. Tribe of Judah like to fight. Mm-hmm. Who does Judah fight? Other Judites. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? You could go to war with the oppressor, nigga. Right. You go to war with yourself. Right. You could go to war with whoever is harming the other 12 tribes. No, everybody serves. Right. Get the point? Lust ain't just, some big booty hole or some, weed. Right. It's a vulnerability. But the vulnerability could make you now start to be anti, go against the grain. No, you're doing opposite to what it is. Right. You're warring, but you ain't warring right. You ain't, there's a lot of work, a lot of movement. Right. There's no spoil. There's no spoil. So what you're warring for? Right. Bring me spoil. You're swinging that sword, but I ain't see no spoil coming. Right. Bring me spoil. Even if the spoil is yourself. Mm-hmm. Even if the spoil is you. I'll take that. I could start with that. I could do damage. I've been trained well enough under Commander General Yahanna. Right. I could do damage with one loyal soldier. Right. One loyal ass nigga. Right. Forget about a broad arc. To squeeze every brown penny out of purse. Don't go ask the general for me and I'll break your bank. 401k for fucking what? Salakia. Retirement for what? Bitch, we gonna work till we die. I'll break your bank. But I'll deliver spoil though. I'll go get it. You understand? I'll go get it. This is what you should ask for. I learned this very young and I didn't understand it at the time because I was going through hell like every young brother and sister coming in truth. Commander John Yahanna said the best way to fight your lust or your vulnerability or your demons is to do what?
Focus on your brother's problems.
Go fight your brother's problems. Go fight it. Go battle for him. Why you go fight for him? Because like you, he can't fight for himself. Remember, you can't solve your demons.
Right.
He can't fight his. But where a threefold coil, one is, give me scripture, Ecclesiastes. Give me Ecclesiastes 3. Hold on.
4:9.
It's 4:9.
Come, sir.
Please.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. 2 are better than 1.
Say it again.
2 are better than 1.
Hold on. Wait. Start at 7.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 7. Then I returned, and I saw vanity under the sun.
Why? What is under the sun? Vanity. What does that mean? Nothing. Right. It's a whole ton of nothingness going on.
Right.
A whole ton of just nothing and nothingness. And this is you doing all this for nothing.
Right.
It's a whole ton of that. I turn and I look and I see nothing but vanity. There's no spoil.
Right.
All the marching you do, where's the spoil?
Right.
All the protesting you do, where's the spoil?
Right.
Kyle Rittenhouse cry. That nigga free now though.
Yeah.
Them tears meant something.
Right.
Meant more than your marching.
Right.
Go ahead.
Come. Verse 8. There is one alone.
There's one what?
There is one alone.
There's what?
There is one alone.
Go ahead.
And there is not a second.
There's one alone and not a second, brother. You're going through some shit, brother. The best thing you can do is pick up the phone.
Right.
And Satan is telling you, do not call. If Satan tells you do not call, come on, Yahanna say it long ago, brother. And I understand it now. I didn't understand it then. But brother, run to the phone arc.
Right.
And ring it until somebody answers.
Right.
You don't understand warfare. And you don't understand the game that's being played around you.
Right.
It's for your soul, Ark. It's for your soul. No disrespect to the sisters. But brother, the scripture says, I'll get it for you if anybody who needs it. The Bible says the angels rejoice when one soul comes into the truth.
Right.
When there's a party, the angels up there yelling, Kwam Yashala,
Right.
Most High in Christ, making noise, flying, doing something, whatever you have in your mind of rejoicing.
Right.
The fact that you ain't high no more, you ain't killing no brother no more, you ain't selling drugs, and you're on the street teaching. And that's the only why I say this, no disrespect to the sisters, because the sisters can't teach.
Right.
But you out there, you showing up to camp means Satan looks bad. You teaching means Satan looks bad. Hold on, he had the wrong door. What's up with him?
No,
Okay, no sweat. Who's that? Shapat? No sweat. Means Satan looks bad. You loving your brother means Satan, and I'm about to go into the love just now. Just bear with me for a little more. He has to go to war with you.
Right.
Now, is he going to come and, at first he going to come with your mother and your father, but come back to church and buy the children gifts and shit. I think it's 10 years before I stopped getting a birthday call. I remembered it. I was preparing for didn't I tell you don't call me no more? The phone never ring. I was like, wow, that was a long one, boy. Most High in Christ.
Right.
He's coming for you where you're vulnerable. You're going to go through shit. Go get some counsel. Go pick up the phone. Put your fucking pride aside. Because guess what? There's somebody over you watching over you, and they ain't pussy. So they're going to go to war with you. And to you, because you're simple, you're going to think this person hates you. Well, guess what? This person going to hate you either to strength or out the door.
Right.
You understand? This person going to hate you all the way till then.
Right.
Right? And this person would have done their job. Why the fuck don't you do yours?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Do your goddamn job. Fight yourself. Make a call. Say what's going on. Help. Say something. But you don't do it.
Right.
Satan have a job to do. I have one to do too. Keep reading. Salaki.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 8. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yea, he hath neither child nor brother. Yet is there no end of all his labor.
Yet there's what?
Yet is there no end of all his labor.
What does that mean? Yet there's no end of all his labor. What does that mean? Kaga?
Just means I'm going to continue working. It's like
you ain't painting the picture.
Okay.
You have no child, no whatever, but yet there's no end of all his labor. What does that mean? What do you want at the end of all your labor? He had his hand up.
You said, what do you want at the end of all of your labor?
You was going to ask a question or something?
No, last.
Right.
I was.
What do you want at the end of labor?
You want to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
But there's no end to your labor. So what does that mean?
Work never stops.
Why does the work never stop? Give it to you for time's sake. Anybody? Is that?
You're by yourself. You're working for yourself.
Okay, that's true. But there's something else. There's something else right there. There's no fruit to enjoy. So you go back to work. And there's no end because there's no fruit. There's no end because there's no reward. What you want, you're not getting. You ask amiss. You understand? Because you're by yourself. Doing things on your own. Keep reading.
Come. Yet is there no end of all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches.
It's not satisfied because you're not getting what you want. You have, because there's riches. You ain't satisfied. You're not appreciating that. Because what you want is based on something else. Because you're by yourself. You understand? The jail is packed. Every man is for himself, right? Imagine that. Filled with brothers. Every man is for himself. It's so much every man for himself in there that when you find a brother who has your back, it's like wartime. It's like you and him against the world. Right or wrong? Once you find a nigga who really about no guile, no deceit, who really have your back, man, it's like, shit, you find sunshine. Now you're rolling. But until that second one come, every man is for himself. It's constant work. Go ahead.
Neither saith he, for whom do I labor, and bereave my soul of good.
Right? Neither said he, for whom do I labor? You ain't inquiring about the next. You're only inquiring for yourself. You understand?
Right.
Go ahead.
This is also vanity.
This is also vanity. At the root of it is vanity. It's nothing. It's nothing. You understand? Paul said, my desire is to deliver you all as chaste virgins before the Lord. That's it. To go and win brothers and, build up something that ain't got shit to do with you. Oftentimes at the expense of you, something ridiculous. Keep going.
Yea, it is a sore travail.
Keep going. It's a sore travail, meaning what? It's a lot of stress and pressure, this type of work.
Right.
It'll wear you out, tire you out. Go ahead.
Verse 9. 2 are better than 1. Because they have a good reward for their labor.
What's their good reward? 2 are better than 1. They have a good reward for their labor. What's their labor?
Each other's problems.
You answer it, brotherhood. You and a nigga could get together to do whatever. Y'all could end up in jail. If both of y'all in jail, you're fine. What happens if one snitch and go home and the other one goes to jail? That's not a good reward. The brotherhood is the reward. Read it one more time.
2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor.
Keep going.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Say it one more time.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Say it one more time.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
You understand? Go ahead.
But woe to him that is alone when he falleth. For he hath not another to help him up.
Break that down quickly. Who's on it? They have a good reward. Because if they fall, if one fall, the one will help the other one up. What does that mean?
It means you can fight again. If you alone and you fall, the fight is over. Ain't nobody there.
I'll go deeper. If you're alone, you don't know you fell. That's how Satan gets you. You read the scripture and think, oh shit, I fall. Damn, nobody helping me up. That's not how he gets you, because you know you fell. Because what? A child who falls over does what? Tries to get up. A child who has a shitty diaper, do they change the diaper?
No.
They don't know they in a shitty diaper. When you by yourself, you don't know you fell. You don't. When you have brotherhood, what happens? You walk through the door, and sisterhood, of course, what happens? You walk through the door, you get a phone call. Somebody say, hey, you all right, Doc? You ain't sounding too well enough. You good? How many of you, show of hands, get a phone call in the middle of hell, and a brother asks you, you good? And you're right in the middle of hell. All you got to say is, man, you wouldn't believe what happened. Listen, it's a good thing you called. It was the Lord. That ain't CIA, no. Ain't no somebody spying on you.
Right.
It's the Lord trying to show you ain't by yourself. Right. How many of y'all choose at one time to be by yourself? I know I did it. I ain't too proud. You're going through some bullshit. This is some bullshit. You crying, you turning everything upside the phone ring. Get an answer. Or, hello? What's going on? You too up? You sounding good? Yeah, I'm good. You ain't know your faller. You ain't even, nobody ain't know nothing. Right. Nobody can tell you nothing. Right. Satan, he got you. He got you. Nigga, he in his office since Adam. Right. You easy. Me and you easy. Stay vigilant. You understand? Right. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone, and he falleth, for he had not another to help him up. Wanting to fall, he might not even know he down. He might not even know man down. That's how you get fake Israelites. You know how fake Israelites know they left the truth? The only reason they know they left the truth, that they fell, is because of what? Us. If it wasn't for us, what would they say? They ain't the truth. I'm keeping the Shabbat and the Pesach. Spit coming out the mouth with the Pesach. But if it wasn't for the UPK Act, that second one, they wouldn't know they fell. Are we trying to pick them up? Are we like, hey, brother, come on, get up? Are we trying to pick them up? Yes, we are. You are not in the truth, nigga. Stop teaching that dumb shit. Right. You're not in here. That's brotherhood too. Right. If you can't correct your brother, you're not a brother. Right. If your brother cannot accept correction, he is not a brother. Right. He's not even a man. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm now your enemy because I tell you the truth.
Give him a hand. Come on, Kagan, boy. Bring that one. Give him, what is he, 726? Bring that 45 ACP quick. Load him up. Keep reading. Where we at?
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone?
Perfect scripture for the sisters. You have some broad who want to throw a man away and put him on child support. Bitch, that bed get cold. That little, 2-foot little monster you're growing can't help you. Right. That nigga could, though. He could bring some warmth to the bed, his presence. The movie he watching, you ain't interested, but he just there. You good. Mm-hmm. You get the point? Where's the 3/4 quarters? He's not easily broken.
It's right at verse 12.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him.
You by yourself, you're gonna get prevailed. You could get prevailed over. You might fend off some things, right. But in other things you get prevailed over. Right. If the one get prevailed, two could withstand. With two, you could just stand at bay. Right. You could block with two. Go ahead.
And a threefold cord is not quickly broken.
You ain't gonna get broken with three. You gotta build the brotherhood. Right. You gotta go to war for each other. Right. You gotta go to war for your brother, and you cannot have a compromise in going to war. You're gonna have to do it when you don't want to. And that's the difficult part. Sometimes you don't want to go to war with your brother, but you have to. You don't want to go to war with your sister. Women can't understand. This sister, why are you yelling at me? Bitch, because I love you. Right. That don't make no sense. Right. Don't stop. You get the point? Right. Don't stop. Don't stop. In context, though, I ain't saying everything is expedient. You're going to have to go to war. Now, let me guess, let's go over the tools of war real quick, then we're done. Matthew 18 and 15. Matthew 18 and 15. I think one more, and that's it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. Mm-hmm. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
All right. Who could break it down? Go ahead, Salaki. That's it? All right. No sweat. Who could break it down? Give me the young man.
It means that if you have a problem with a nigga, you go ahead
with a brother.
Salaki. If you have a problem with a brother,
when you have a problem with a nigga, somebody getting shot.
Salaki, sir. If you have
a problem with a brother,
you go to that man about that problem that you have with him, and if he turns his, and I don't want to hear that, then you can go to the priest and the prophet of the Lord, and then they will hear you
for judgment. That's it.
And then you leave it like that.
That's it.
Salaki.
That's it. You go to him and him alone and tell him his fault. If he hears you, what does hear you mean? Shapat. Shapat over there pensive. You thinking. I like that look. At first, I wasn't sure what the fuck that look meant. But over time, I grow to Shapat. I grow into it. I understand the nigga. I understand. That's my nigga right there. That's the right use of nigga. Salaki. That's my nigga right there. That's how you know he's reflecting on some dumb shit. And he's making the adjustment. Go ahead. Yeah, you see the face how he just like, give him a hand. He's genuine like a motherfucker. He can't hide the shit. Even if he tried to, he can't hide the shit. Go ahead, Shapat.
You saying that they hear you, they hear you because they're actually I mean, like they're listening to you, they're taking into consideration.
No. Don't pass it to me. I got one. Slack it. Yeah, don't pass it here. I got one. What does here you mean? Mike.
It's like if I could hear you literally read that he sat down and not just listened to you, but what you said, he took in. I don't want to say consideration.
How would I know he took it into consideration? If I'm the one coming before to you, how would I know? I tell you, and you sat down and you taking it in. How would I know you took it into consideration?
That's like, so if I could, because he apologized.
Give him a hand. You're right. Because he says, Salakia, my fault. I shouldn't have said that. Now, the scripture says if he does not say that, what must he do?
So, you two brothers, of course, that's in the truth and counsel.
You must go to counsel. Does anybody understand that this is a law? I learned that the other day. That's all I understood is the fullest. You all know this is not an option.
Right.
How many of you know by hand that this was not an option, that this is law? Well, you know now. This is the law. It's right up there on the wall. We have to go. You understand? It's law.
Right.
Why you don't understand that it's law? Why do you think it's an option?
Because of our lust.
Or our vulnerability.
Right.
Lack of integrity. You don't understand that this is law. Like so law like pork. Like everything. Like tithes. Like fringes. Like everything. This is also law. Now, do you want to?
No, lie.
Why?
Because
of your vulnerability.
Right.
You're lost. You're vulnerable because you've been compromised by the Christian church. This is not the church. White people living next to each other for years. You redo your fence and you quarter of an inch over on the other side. Where they going?
To you.
Mm-mm.
The housing people.
No. You all ain't never lived next to no devil.
So like you said, if you do your lust and you go a quarter of an inch.
You do over your fence. You do over you're right here. You do over your boundary. You go quarter of an inch over on his side. What does these oppressors do? Sis? I'll see your ass in court. That's law. Now, what you're doing is against the law. I got to go. They'll go to war with him, win or lose, and come right back there and live next to each other. You see how far we have to go as a people are? The root of all our problems. Everything is in this. You understand?
Oh, God.
Let me get one more. Give me Ecclesiasticus 6 and 6. No, 6 and 7 first, and then go to 6. Quickly.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Say it one more time.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Do what to him?
Prove him first.
Do what to him?
Prove him first.
Go ahead.
And be not hasty to credit him.
Why? Why do I make you go through 90 days, young man?
Salaki, sir, this in reality, that man could just he could just be Salaki.
On topic.
Vanity,
On topic.
He
on topic. It's deeper than that.
Salaki, he just not
Because it's brotherhood.
his brother. Sir.
Because you're not ready to be my brother.
Calm.
And if I call you my brother before you're ready, what could happen?
You can not only just punch yourself.
I could destroy you. I could destroy you.
Calm.
You understand?
Calm.
This brotherhood could never, ever mature. A baby, before it walks, is in the womb. Can I take that baby out because I love the baby? Because I want the baby so much. What do I have to do? I have to wait until that baby is mature.
Right.
That 90 days is his maturing period. You get the point? There's so much maturing periods in here. It's for the brotherhood. It's for the love of the brotherhood. You get the point? Be not hasty to credit a friend. Prove him first. Skip me up.
Verse 6. Be in peace with many.
Be what?
Be in peace with many.
Be at what?
Be in peace with many.
Go ahead. What does that mean? What does that mean, be at peace with many? Go.
So like meaning like today's term, don't go out there starting something. Just be humble yourself. Like love your brothers.
A little bit more militant. Keep the law concerning your brother. Be lawful. That's how you be at peace.
Right.
Lawful.
Right.
What's lawful is what's peaceful.
That's right.
That's what's lawful. What's peaceful.
Right.
What's peaceful is law. You understand? That's how we are. We are different people than our oppressor. We have a different code, a different thing we live by. Right? Be at peace with many. Keep reading.
Nevertheless, have but one counselor.
Say it again.
Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
Say it again.
Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
What does that mean? Shapat.
Just have one counselor. You don't tell everybody your problems. Resort to that same person for counsel.
Of 1,000, meaning of 1,000 what?
1,000 people who might know your situation.
Who might could give you counsel.
Right.
Why is it to have one counselor? Why is that better? Shapat? I mean, Kagar?
Because if you had more than one counselor, you would have a different answer. One counselor would in the law.
Anybody ever take their car to a mechanic? How much mechanics you take your car to?
3, 4.
3 or 4? Shit, how good is your car running? I bet you ain't running too good. I bet you all over the place. You usually take it one place. How much doctors you take your kids to? You have one place you take your kids. And they keep that file. And they know everything. So you could get proper counsel. It's impossible to get it. Part of the file is over here. If you're going to enter a school, to admit into a school, they want all your files from all the schools, so they know where to put you. You get the point? This is part of brotherhood as well. It's part of it. Focus on maintaining your integrity. Focus on being willing to hurt. Focus on being willing to go to war.
Right.
Not for yourself, for your brother.
Right.
It will serve you better. Because when you fall, going to war for him, he'll pick you up. He'll pick you up when you don't know you're falling.
Right.
Because he's seeing you. He watching you. He know how you swing that sword, and he know when that sword starts swinging weak. And he could stop you. He could stop you. How many times a brother had to damn near beg you, stop, don't do this, man. Don't do this thing, man. Slow down. Take a day. Take a day. Forget about it with the sisters. Maintain your integrity. That's the first step. Don't get Satan no room. Go to war for not yourself. The minute you start doing things for yourself, it's a problem. You're going to be like Ruby Bridges. Sit in a class for a year with no students, taught by your enemy to be a travel agent and a mother. She could have done that and gained more in the black community. Right. You understand? Right. With that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shepard.
I.S.U.P.K security announcement. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves to the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 verse 21, and Malachi 3 verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew is pronounced ma'ashim. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give it to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Purim, 14th day of the 15th day of the 12th month. Monday, the 14th of February, and Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2022. You'll find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Remind Akim and Akwakim to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother or sister, if a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black hairband and scarf. With that, I say imagine, which means to stand.
Salute.
We'll give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Imam Shabbat, Imagine, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham.
So, which means the turn. Yajmata. So, which means the turn. Since you may stand. Men of Israel will give a courtesy salute to the sister. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine, Barak.
Yahweh Shema Alatham Shem Yahushua.
Yajmata. Class dismissed.